course, you guys, you do get to see it. I thought he was going to stop. Look at him warming up for date night tonight with the wife. How about that?
Yeah. Date night. Let's go.
Yeah, do whatever it takes to make sure she doesn't go home with someone else.
Yep. I mean, at this point in our relationship, like, I don't care.
Oh, no.
we were 20 years this year. She's put up with me, my antics this long. Like, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah. He's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
How's it going, George?
Oh, man, I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Got out of work early today. Decided I'd surprise the wife with a little bit of date night. Messaged you, asked you, hey, do you want to do this a little early today? And you were like, yes, I do. The earlier, the better. And my immediate response, I'll be ready in 10 minutes.
Well, absolutely. So here we are. So Friday night, TGIF. We've got our injury report. We do not have a special guest this week, which means you get the special Dr. George and the special nurse Justin.
The dancing doctor. Yeah.
You are in a good mood, man. You are primed for date night.
Dude, date night. I got out of work early. We're doing the show early. I got paid today. Like, good day so far. Like, I wish every day was like today.
Yeah. If every day were Friday, we'd have to work every day.
I even got my little glass of not water with me. It's lemonade.
You are.
It's public. It's Publix brand lemonade.
I was gonna say, you're not much of a drinker, so that would have been interesting.
Yeah, no, it would. Yes, that would be very interesting. But no, and it's only like it's not even 5 o'clock. I mean, I'm sure it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but like It's not even 5 o'clock here. I got my water and my lemonade.
Exactly. Well, I mean, we have some other stuff too. We've got ToiletsToTitles at ToiletsToTitles on the Twitter. So for those of you that are not already following, please do so there. Since we're at the top of the show now, let's go ahead and drop I'm a T2T Fanatic. This is a live show only for this month, the month of October. You can enter to win a $100 gift card to fanatics.com. All you got to do over here in the comment section is type in I'm a Fanatic and then leave us your Twitter handle. And
whoa. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yo.
But if they put I'm a Fanatic, they're not entered.
Oh, T2T. That's right.
It's very specific. See, Justin is so excited about my date night that he's stumbling on his words and forgetting the rules and of engagement here. Okay, it's I'm a T2T fanatic. You got to put that T to T in there. If you don't, like, you may be a fanatic of something else. I'm not sure what you could be a fan of, but it could be something.
That's right. Yeah, I am excited about your date night. We don't get to see Happy George very often.
No, this is Happy George. This is a good mood, George.
Let's see, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook. We do have a Facebook page now. It's not just When a Family Breaks. It's ToiletsToTitles Facebook page. We're on Podbean and Spotify. If you would, go ahead and subscribe everywhere that you possibly can. ToiletsToTitles.com to check out our articles and links. Got a lot of good stuff going on there. And, of course, my personal favorite, you Patreons. We absolutely love you Patreons. Patreon.com/ToiletsToTitles. When you go there, there's several different options to choose from. We have different levels, $3, $5, $7.50, $10, and $20. Each different level gets you something else. The $5 one is an absolute steal. That's definitely probably our most popular level as well. But every level comes with perks. So go patreon.com/ToiletsToTitles. Check it out. Help us out. And we greatly appreciate you. But George, we have a Friday night injury show. We got a lot of injuries to get to tonight. A lot of injuries in the NFL, a lot of injuries that are affecting fantasy teams. And on top of that, we also still have bye weeks going on. So people need this information. So we are here to serve.
Yeah, and we're not even going to get into trades, right? Like that's going to impact some people's fantasy this weekend as well. And we're not even going to touch on those. Sure. We're going to start off with Carson Wentz. And if you're at the point now in a one quarterback league where you still have Carson Wentz rostered, something has gone wrong. But especially like if you still have him rostered after last Wednesday's game, like shame on you. he's droppable. Okay, just go ahead and drop him. It's fine. Nobody in your league is going to pick him up unless it's a super flex. Then he'll probably get picked up, but he's probably not going to get picked up in a super flex either.
Yeah.
Anyway, Carson Wentz is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Like I said, he's droppable. Nobody's picking him up. After fracturing his finger in last Thursday's win over the Bears. Expect Taylor Heineke to start. His hand is absolutely jacked up right now. He wasn't doing very good before the hand getting jacked up. He's not going to do good afterwards. Hopefully they let Taylor Heineke ride out the rest of the season so they can truly see what they have in this kid, whether he's the future there or not. We all know Carson Wentz is not the future there. So worst case scenario is they get a better draft pick next year in a pretty decent draft class.
Speaking of draft picks, just so you know, if Carson Wentz plays 70% or more of the snaps for Washington, then the Colts get a second-round pick in that last pick out of the deal. So he will not be coming back to play again for Washington, because without that, it becomes a third-round pick, which makes more sense to the Colts' luck on that end. And also, Taylor Heineke, like, I had him in a couple of leagues ahead of the injury, anticipating that Wentz was already just going to get benched anyway. So when Heineke comes out and he can actually do something with that offense, you're absolutely right. Carson ain't coming back.
Correct. Up next, this is a big blow. Like, they traded a first-round pick for this guy, Marquise Hollywood Brown, fractured his foot. He's expected to miss roughly 6 weeks. Big blow to the Cardinals, who were just starting to get healthy. J.J. Watt is back. DeAndre Hopkins, welcome back, Mr. Hopkins. Sir, I have missed you very much. I am so glad to have you back on all of my rosters. But Hollywood Brown, he's dealing with a foot issue. He's broke a bone in the top of his foot. I've actually broke this same bone in my foot. I'm not a high-level athlete like Hollywood Brown. My recovery time was a lot longer than 6 weeks, but I do know what he's going through. It is a very painful thing to have to work through, and I couldn't imagine having to do the rehab to where I'm trying to get back on the professional NFL field. They're expecting to put him on the IR if they haven't already done so. I'll do one more because Justin can't pronounce these injury names, and then I'll throw it over to you, Justin.
Okay. All
right. So Russell Wilson, he's dealing with a latissimus dorsi tear and a hamstring strain. So it's not just one, it's two. So if you're not familiar, like we had Dr. Jesse Morse on last week talking about the latissimus dorsi muscle. That is I knew you had it. We're here, Justin. We are here. Woo! So that is basically like, you know how you do high school, you used to do lat pull downs. That's the muscle in your back. Well,
it's definitely high school and not since then.
Why do you think I said high school? Because why would you do one since high school? You wouldn't. So that muscle is partially torn. It is definitely affecting his throwing issue, as Dr. Morse told us last week. Going into last Thursday night's game, he also received a hamstring issue. He pulled his hamstring. Apparently, he's playing through a lot of pain right now. It's like not just injured, but like he's hurt, and he's still out there playing, which could explain why he's playing really bad. As of right now, the last thing I've seen before we came on air is he's a true game time decision. If it was me, I would look elsewhere for a starting quarterback in a single quarterback league and in a super flex. In a desperation pinch, I'd play him, but like I would have played Andy Dalton and who was the other quarterback that played? Kyler Murray. Of course, you're going to start Kyler. But I would have played Andy Dalton over Russell Wilson, Andy Dalton had a terrible game last night, but fantasy, very nice. Very, very nice. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys I would be playing over Russell Wilson at this point. Like you're playing him based upon his name, not based upon his production.
And I mean, let's be realistic. Just like Dr. Jesse Moore said, he's best to take some time off. Yeah. I think personally they need to shut him down. They've got the Jets and the Jaguars coming up. They are two at least winnable games for them if the ball bounces the right way. I know that the Jets are much improved. They probably won't win the game without Wilson, but I think you got to sacrifice it. take that Jets and the Broncos game off. Then you got your bye week. Then you come back to the Titans, where you will need a healthy Russell Wilson. So if they're smart, they're going to shut him down. I know you said you're going to hand it over to me. Before I do that, we do have a viewer in, Colby. Just so you know, this isn't a trade show, but we will hurry up and hit this one up because you are our only comment right now. So this particular trade, he said he's got Debo he's being offered Debo and Ramondre for CeeDee Lamb, Juju, and I'm guessing that is Jeff Wilson Jr. JWJ. I don't speak hip to the kid lingo, but I'm guessing that's what that abbreviation means. Personally, I'm taking Ramondre and Debo in a heartbeat. I'm going to smash accept. I'm not even going to think about it. I do like CD. I like his upside. I like the possibilities with Dak, but I don't think Debo's too far behind him, and I think Ramondre has a great future ahead of him.
I agree with everything Justin said. And Colby, if you want us to answer more of these questions for you on the show, I just need you to do me a solid. Go down into that same little comment box where you put that comment and put, I'm a T2T fanatic. That's all you need to do, my friend. That's all you got to do. Entered into a $100 Fanatics gift card contest. Cost you absolutely nothing. Just a couple seconds of typing. I'm a T2T fanatic.
With a Twitter handle or some kind of way for us to contact you. If you don't have another way, then we'll just contact you through YouTube here through a comment and hope that you respond. All right. So next on the list, we got Kenny Pickett. So it's my turn. Kenny Pickett had a concussion. He suffered a concussion versus Tampa Bay on Sunday. He was replaced by Mitch Trubisky, and I can tell you clearly that George typed that one up. Pickett is going through the NFL concussion protocol and is questionable for Sunday. But we did see an update today that he has been cleared from the concussion protocol, and he is expected to play against Miami, according to Chris Towers of CBS Sports.
So Mitch Trubisky went out and beat Tom Brady one-on-one. If Tom Brady's the GOAT, but he lost to Mitch Trubisky, clearly Mitch Trubisky has to be known as Trugotsky, right?
Yeah, and it was one-on-one. There were no other players on the field that meant anything.
I mean, are you really going to try to convince me that the Steelers have a better team around them than the Buccaneers?
You're not going to hear any argument from me if you're going to say anybody's higher than Tom Brady, because, I mean, he's my background crying for a reason. I agree with you completely. Give me all the Trubisky. All right.
He's a GOAT. He's the GOAT.
It took me long enough to learn how to pronounce his actual name. You can't throw this on me. It takes a while. I'm an old dog. New tricks, you know. All right. Aaron Rodgers, thumb. He has a thumb. Luckily, he has another one, so he should be able to rely on it. He is dealing with the undisclosed thumb injury. I don't understand why they can't disclose it. Like, it's a thumb injury, but limited in practice, and again seems to rear its head in the loss to the Packers. I don't understand what that means, but Rodgers said that his thumb was a bit sore following the game and affected him on some throws throughout the afternoon, according to Joe Rivera of SportingNews.com. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers and it's just a thumb. He's going to play. But if it's affecting his throws to the point where it's costing them games, then that also means it's probably costing you plenty of fantasy points as well.
Did you see the video where he was taking his hand and just spinning it around and flexing out the thumb? That was like the craziest thing I had ever seen.
Yeah, you even commented on it in our team chat.
Yeah. So
PJ Walker, neck injury for PJ Walker. Quarterback PJ Walker wasn't able to finish the game with a neck injury, but indicated afterward he should be able to play next week. So I feel really bad for the Panthers.
Well, and I didn't get a chance to update this, but PJ Walker has been announced as the starter for this week.
Okay, and that's the original source was Darren Gant of the Panthers.com.
So I'm gonna let you get the next one too, out of respect for your love for kickers, and then I'll take on the next one.
Fair enough, because I'm the only one on the T2T team that actually respects kickers.
No, I put him on the show list. I thought it was important. Okay, I'm not as big of kicker fan as you are, but I don't hate kickers. I like kickers.
Yeah. Well, it's even more important too because this one comes to us from Dr. Jesse Morris of the Fantasy Doctors, last week's guest of the show. So the Chargers kicker Dustin Hopkins suffered a strained hamstring Monday night. He finished the game with the injury, but is expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks. It was a situation where he knew he was hurt. He knew that it was going to be painful when he kicked the ball, but they didn't really have too many other options that he felt like were going to be as accurate as him. So he muscled up and he fought through it, and sure enough, he hit the game tying field goal, the game winning field goal. They carried him probably not all the way off the field because I'm sure it hurt, but they still picked him up. He was all smiles after the game, but a bad hamstring for a kicker is no bueno. So he's out 2 to 4 weeks. Let's see.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, you're up. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So yeah. Playing through hamstrings is bad, right? Like it's not good. A lot of people sit up for that. And now imagine being a kicker whose sole purpose in life and sole purpose in the game is to kick the ball. Yeah, you're not kicking a ball with a bad hamstring at all. So
yeah. Now I will say this much: like even with my love for kickers, like I got to admit, Dustin, seriously, dude, on that last one after he kicked it. And he kind of paused there for like a few seconds, and he waited until the ball went through the uprights, and then he collapses. Like, you're trying to play it just a little bit too much there. Like, we love you, Dustin. You don't have to. That was a bit dramatic, I gotta say.
Listen, I appreciate that better than the 350-pound linemen who get barely shoved or barely touched, and they fall backwards. Oh my God, he just ran me over.
The tiny wide receiver shoves them.
Yeah, come on, man. Like you watched LeBron James one too many times with that flopping. Speaking of LeBron James. No, he's not on our list. Next, we have Dakota Dak Prescott. He's not injured, finally. He's expected to start this week for the Cowboys against what is a juicy matchup with Detroit. And for the first time since his injury, he's not listed on the injury report. So, Cooper Rush, you did great. You did fantastic. You hung in there, young man. But Dak is back. So, Cowboys will still finish last in the NFC East, but they'll do it with Dak Prescott as quarterback now.
Last?
Speaking of the best team in the NFC East, Saquon Barkley is dealing with a shoulder issue. Joe, I got you, my friend. Saquon, he got slammed into the turf on a play and went to the sideline, paced for a bit, and then nearly doubled over. And it looked as if he had tweaked the sore shoulder that bothered him in the London game. So it's been a reoccurring issue with him. When asked after the game, he said, and I quote, "I am good." That is the expert analysis and injury analysis from Dr. Saquon Barkley. I am good. So we fully expect Saquon to be in the lineup and start this week. Just monitor the shoulder issue. If maybe something pops off and warm-ups or something like that, I highly, highly doubt it, but you never know. The next one is going to hurt me a little bit. I just want to pour a little bit out here. This guy can't catch a break. I mean, I feel bad for the kid. J.K. Dobbins, he left the game last Sunday with knee tightness. No further information was given. He's coming off a torn ACL and hamstring injuries. Now he's expected to have arthroscopic surgery, and he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Our good friend, I believe it was John, coach, put in our private chat that J.K. Dobbins is done. I don't want to believe that. I'm really rooting for this kid. He was super talented in college, looked great, looked really good in the NFL in short spurts, but he just has this really, really bad luck with injuries. So if you've got him, you're taking him out. And you wanted to say something, Justin?
I was just gonna give a shout out to Nino here. Our boy Nino is in the chat right now. I want to throw it out there for everyone. Make sure that you're checking out Nino's shows. Nino is probably one of the hardest working guys on the team right now. So
I'm gonna have to cut you off and not get rid of that. Probably he is the hardest
Yeah.
I'm giving him flowers. He absolutely deserves that.
That's fair. And he does a show on Tuesday nights with Jared and Russ, and they do the H to H IDP show at 9 p.m. Just shortly after the flagship show. And then also Nino is on the NCAA and Debbie Talk with Jared again on Friday nights, which would be tonight. So make sure you tune in again tonight. It's typically following us. We're at 7 p.m. I doubt we're normally 7 p.m. I doubt they're going to follow us this early, but usually right around 8:30 is when they typically get started with that show. But you can find Nino just about anywhere else on Twitter for sure. The boy's all over the place. Our boy Sheps is in the chat as well. I just mentioned the flagship show that he does with myself, and Coach is pretty much, he's the president, he's the CEO, he runs everything. Yep, we did mention the T2T Fanatic. We've handled that a couple of times. But we do have some new viewers here. Let's see what James has to say. We got James Davis says, "You're killing me here, Smalls."
I gotta go back on the phone. I finally have a decent Wi-Fi connection. Now I'm screwing you up.
James says, "I don't know how true this is, but there's been reports that Chiefs." Now, what's with all the capital letters here? You're throwing me. I don't know what to emphasize, but there's been reports that Chiefs have been talking to Panthers for 2 weeks about DJ Moore. And I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I have a lot of DJ Moore shares. I had too much faith in Baker Mayfield. I know, I'm an idiot, but I thought a new situation, a new change of pace. Hey, those new viewers that are out there, please get the word out. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 791 now. We're rolling. We need to get 9 more to hit 800. We'd love to be able to get that tonight. But the sooner we can get to 1,000, the sooner we can start bringing even more material to you. So, DJ Moore.
I want to go back to this comment right here real quick by Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, do me a favor, all right? Ignore just my
you just hacked that all up. You're cutting out really bad all of a sudden. No, you're cutting out really bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and say I'm hoping what he's trying to say is while you're in here, you're new in the chat, just type in "I'm a T2T fanatic." Leave your Twitter handle or some other social media aspect that we can get a hold of you in the chat right alongside with it, and you'll be entered to win a $100 gift card for Fanatics.com. Next up on the injury list, are you there? Dude, you're still cutting out really bad. Next up on the injury list, we have Kendrick Bourne. So Kendrick, there he goes. He's officially out. That now George has just entered the injury list, the injury probably concussion protocol. If I had to guess, it is date night with the wife, so she's probably putting him in concussion protocol just so that he can get a little R&R, and he's back from concussion protocol. You can tell he's a Miami Dolphins fan. That didn't take long.
It was a neck injury, sir. It had nothing to do with a concussion. That was all my neck.
Kendrick Bourne is next on the list. He's got a toe injury. Kendrick Bourne left Sunday's game with a toe injury, according to Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald on Twitter. Bourne's reported toe injury as of now doesn't seem that serious. And then, again, that was Andrew Callahan of Twitter. You have anything you want to add to that, or do you want me to roll right into the next one?
Go into the next one because I'm adding another name to the end of the show sheet.
Gotcha. Randall Cobb, ankle injury. This one was tough to watch because it was tough to see him get carted off. It was tough to see the emotion. As a matter of fact, you put it right here. You put that in here. Cobb had to be carted off the field and looked pretty emotional after suffering the injury. But according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Cobb had x-rays taken after the game that did not show a break or a fracture. Cobb might be dealing with a high ankle sprain, but appeared to avoid a long-term injury. He's been playing in the league for a long time. I mean, a high ankle injury this late into your career, you're coming back to your former team, and you're trying to make things happen. You're trying to make things right for the fan base, and And I mean, something like that happens, absolutely gruesome. So, and then I thought it looked worse than evidently it really was. But even a high ankle sprain at his age could mean a good chunk of the season here. So fire up your Romeo Dobbs shares. And they got Sammy Watkins coming back from IR, so he'll be good for another week or two. Um, yeah, so there's that.
All right. So the kind of pile on what you're saying about Cobb, like I seen that injury happen, and I honestly thought it was career threatening. Like I know he's in the league for a while and whatnot, but like just the raw emotion that he was displaying and the fact that they brought out the cart and all that, it just I honestly thought that it was career ending. Luckily, it's not. They do expect him to be back at some point this year. He was very lucky to have avoided a long-term injury. Because I think if it would have been worse than just and listen, high ankle sprain is bad, but if it would have been worse, like a broken bone or something like that, or a fracture, or the Achilles, like I would have sworn career ending. So luckily for him, Randall Cobb, it's not really career ending. Next, we have Cameron Brate. Speaking of career ending, like this guy right here, man, another one of these guys that just suffered a ton of injuries, just not very lucky. He had to be carted off the field on Sunday. A scary sight after he left week 4 and missed week 5 with concussions. This guy has had a litany of concussions. Like people were saying Tua needs to retire because of a concussion. This guy has had more concussions than I care to count. And now he had to be carted off with a neck injury. Luckily, when he was examined, everything appeared to be okay. They're expecting him to be out for week 7. That's coming from Ian Rappaport on Twitter. But luckily, again, he managed to avoid serious injury. Neck injuries are not something that, and neck and head injuries really are not something that should be taken very lightly at all.
But for what it's worth, man, I'm actually kind of glad it was a neck injury because when it first happened, I thought it was another concussion. And those concussions back to back to back, is as often as he's had them, like you're risking like life altering injury with those kind of concussions. So when I found out that it wasn't a concussion, I was actually pretty relieved. I mean, a neck injury, maybe something crazy bad happens, you have to quit playing football, but at least you can heal up enough that you can be a normal person. But these concussions piling up that closely together, just like Dr. Morse said last week on the show when he discussed getting back-to-back injuries that close together, that your percentages go higher and higher to have more injuries or more concussions as you go. So that could get ugly. Super C&B challengers. How do we feel about the risk of Swift injury rest of season? Because he got offered Swift, Devontae Smith, and Waddle for Diggs and Najee in PPR. So even if you take Swift out of this, then now you've been offered Devontae Smith and Waddle for Diggs and Najee. If you need wide receiver help and you're good at running back, then that's probably even still a good offer. But with Swift, like you think AC joint because that's what his injury was. And I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead because I don't even know if we have Swift on the list or not. But if we don't, we should have. So I appreciate the question either way. But you think AC joint, you think Dalvin Cook, right? You think that poor guy that you can't get over it. Dude's going to have shoulder injuries for the rest of his career. So I guess it kind of depends on your team makeup. If you feel like you need a boomer bust kind of guy, if Swift is healthy, he's out there, he's going to help you. I think this trade is worth it. I think you do it. If you need consistency, if you're kind of middle to lower level of your fantasy league as it is, and having Swift go out is going to be hugely detrimental, then you can't do it. You can't risk it because it is an AC joint and they have been known to come back. These running backs, I don't care what the rule is about not being able to lower your shoulder and shoulder the boom, that they're going to do it because they get hit that way and they're going to hit back that way. So it's always going to be a risk for sure.
So
go ahead.
The AC joint, what that is there's capsules and ligaments in the shoulder and they become unstable and painful upon impact. And that's, like you mentioned with Dalvin Cook, that's exactly what he goes through. He plays through it. Who else was dealing with an AC joint earlier in the year? And they were playing with the brace on. Was it Alvin?
Oh, I remember that. I remember the brace. I don't remember the player.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's something they can play through. I would actually do this trade. Honestly, I would do the trade if I was Super C and B challengers. And I would also go in the comments and put I'm a T2T fanatic and get entered into a $100 Fanatics gift card with all I have to do is put I'm a T2T fanatic and either your Twitter handle or another way for us to reach out to you if you win, which is good through the end of the month.
Yep, November 1st, we're doing the drawing. So anybody that comments in there, you're entered to win.
Yep, Justin, I'll let you get the next couple because they are your Colts. So I'll let you go ahead and take care of those.
Yeah, honestly, I could have put these together. We got Deion Jackson, we got Nyheim Hines, and we got Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is cleared to come back this week against the Titans. That kind of makes Nyheim Hines only a very desperate play at this point. He's not been able to play up to the potential that I thought he was going to play at, but he has. Nyheim Hines also has been cleared from the concussion protocol. He's going to be playing this weekend. Again, only if you're in super deep leagues and you're super desperate with all the injuries and bye weeks going on. Otherwise, you're avoiding Nyheim. And this pretty much makes Deion Jackson irrelevant again. He did a great job filling in. He had one hell of a game for us. And, I mean, it is what it is. I see NFL. You're back to special teams. Just like you were saying earlier about Cooper Rush. Incredible job. You did your job. We appreciate you. Now go sit down and let the big boys play and see what we got.
So let me ask you this: let's say you're in a deeper league, all right, a 12-team half point PPR, and you got like 8 bench spots or 9 bench spots or something like that. After seeing the performances by Deion Jackson the last few weeks, we know he's going to be irrelevant while Jonathan Taylor is there. Is he still somebody that you would rather hold, or is it just go ahead and cut him?
I think I would hold him if I'm the Jonathan Taylor owner, at least, just to really cover my own situation, I guess, if I want to try to keep it as PG as possible. But so here's the thing: maybe hold on to him. He made it very clear that Philip Lindsay isn't the backup to Jonathan Taylor. Philip Lindsay is the backup to Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines is not even the backup to Jonathan Taylor. So Nyheim Hines, he plays a totally separate role. So if JT goes down again, then yeah, sure. But I'm a Colts fan, so I'm going to have faith that Jonathan Taylor is going to stay healthy this time, and we don't have to worry about it. So yeah, I don't even really feel comfortable having this conversation, to be honest with you.
All right, well, I'll move us along to Jonathan Kelly. Chargers running back Jonathan Kelly is dealing with
Joshua Kelly.
Jonathan Kelly. It doesn't matter. This guy's irrelevant for fantasy. I don't know. He's going to miss 2 to 4 weeks. During that time, there's a good chance he'll probably get usurped permanently by Isaiah Spiller, who is the rookie that the Chargers drafted this offseason. If you have Joshua Kelly on your team, you can cut bait, in my opinion. Next on our list is Dr. Baker Mayfield. He's only a doctor because he stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. He is currently listed as doubtful to play. Since then, update, he's been ruled as out. He's returned to practice week in a limited basis, but the head coach, Steve Wilkes, has already announced that P.J. Walker will start for the second straight week. So dealing with an ankle injury, it's a high ankle sprain. He may be like the emergency quarterback. Like if P.J. Walker were to go down again, then maybe you'll see Baker Mayfield. But it's going to take something drastic to happen to see Baker Mayfield go down. If you're still holding on to him in single quarterback leagues, I don't know why you can go ahead and cut him. Keenan Allen, another guy. I think I talked about him earlier, but I'm pouring more out for him. Questionable for Sunday's matchup due to a hamstring issue. This guy's hamstring has been just the bane of existence all this season. I am a Keenan Allen truther. I've always been a fan. I still think he's one of the top 12 wide receivers in the NFL, not just in fantasy, but in the actual NFL itself. The problem is this year, at least, he can't get on the field. He was on the field temporarily for week 1, and we haven't seen him since. And every week you get your hopes up that maybe he's going to play this week. Maybe he's going to play this week. They're going to test them out before the game, and possibility that he plays, possibility he sits. We're really not sure. He's a true game time decision. I wish the Chargers would have just done everybody a favor and put him on IR and got rid of all the headaches for everybody knowing his status basis. Another guy popped up on the injury list this week, also dealing with the hamstring, and is also questionable for this week's matchup, is Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett. He's also a true game time decision. He is also dealing with a hamstring injury as well. I think there's better odds Lockett plays than Allen, but there's a good chance neither one does play. And because I'm just crushing it right now, I'm going to knock out these last. Well, I'm going to knock out the one I added, and then I'll let you talk about all the Patriot guys. I'll let you talk about them in just a second, okay? Darren Waller. While we were doing the show, I got an alert that Darren Waller has been listed as out for this Sunday's game. He is also dealing with a hamstring. This is kind of concerning, being the fact that he injured his hamstring not last week, but the week before. They had a bye week for a whole week for him to get healthy, and he's still not ready to go this week for the game this Sunday. So fire up your Foster Moreau if you are desperate and you need somebody in a pinch. But Darren Waller is officially ruled out for the Sunday with the.
And Randy, I see your comment in just a minute. I'll get to that comment. But in the meantime, while you're waiting, just type in "I'm a T2T fanatic" in the comment section with your Twitter handle or a way to get a hold of you, and you'll be entered to win the $100 gift card to fanatics.com. That drawing will be done on November 1st. Damian Harris, Dalton Schultz, Mac Jones have all been cleared. Well, they haven't all been cleared. They all put in a full participant in practice today. So there's a high likelihood that they will all, if not play, at least be cleared and suited and ready to go. So, but all of them, especially the Damian Harris and Dalton Schultz ones, in my opinion, need to be monitored because they have other guys on the team at that point that can kind of still fill in and give them an extra week off if they need it. So I think they might be more likely to not go, but I have a feeling that all three of these guys are going to go this week. It might be the end of Zappy hour.
So I'm not sure Harris and Jones go this week. I actually think they both sit. I don't see them rushing Mac Jones back. There's no reason to, right? Like Bailey Zappi and the Zappy hour has been playing fantastic for the Patriots, as much as that pains me. And Ramondre Stevenson has been doing fantastic while Damian Harris gets better. So there's no real reason to rush either one of these guys back. So I'm hoping that they kind of give them one more week, make sure that they're full go, get a whole week of practice in, and be ready to go after missing, substantial amount of time. Dalton Schultz, on the other hand, man, I think he plays. I think he comes back. You got Dak coming back. You got Michael Gallup back. You getting Dalton Schultz back. Like this Cowboys team, and it's a fantastic matchup. I can't stress enough how fantastic matchup that the Detroit Lions are for the Dallas Cowboys this week. So I think Schultz plays, and I think Harris and Jones are going to sit. Belichick has no real reason to rush either one of them back. It's not like they're losing games without these guys. They're not. So rest them up, get them a full week of practice, and then bring them back.
Fair enough. The last comment we have here is from Randy Miller. He said, "We picking up Justice Hill or Gus Edwards?" And to that I answer yes. Personally, I like Justice Hill a little bit more. I have a feeling that George is going to go the other route, but here's my thinking. Ooh, he's got a third option. All right, very interesting. For me, though, Drake is probably the answer, but I feel like Drake is probably already taken everywhere, and that's probably, or at least most places, especially after the week he had. Waivers have already ran for most leagues, so chances are he's already taken. So, so for me, if these are the two options, I'm probably going to go Justice Hill just because I'm a narrative guy, and at the start of the season, Harbaugh talked about how much he enjoyed Justice Hill, how much he said that Justice Hill has improved, how well he's been performing, and the few times he's gotten the ball, he's done well with the opportunity. And he's done all the other things right, like, not necessarily running the football and catching the football, but the other stuff that you need your running backs to be able to do well for the team. And because of that, he was getting more and more looks, more and more carries, and then he got hurt again, and he was out for a week or two, or a week and a half, something like he got put out of the game, then missed last week. He's back. He's healthy. Gus Edwards is probably the better running back when it comes to actually running the football. But I think with Justice Hill being on the coach's good graces for all the other stuff, he might get more playing time, which leads to more opportunity, which is what you want from your running backs. Personally, I'm going Justice Hill, and that shows with some pickups that I made this week to get Justice Hill on my roster.
So for the short term, I'm going Kenyon Drake, and here's why. They still haven't activated Gus Edwards. So they don't have to activate him until Monday. They have to put him on the 53-man roster by Monday, or he's out for the entire season. So they still have not done that. He has not practiced at all this week. Justice Hill, we have seen nothing from him that makes him any type of fantasy relevant at all. Kenyon Drake is the answer. He's only, I just checked it out on Sleeper. He's only owned in 53% of leagues. So almost half the leagues he's not owned in, even after the game that he had last week. I feel like the leagues you and I play in, Justin, compared to a lot of people are different because we play in more competitive leagues. And not saying people play in less competitive leagues, but like we play in a lot of super competitive leagues where a lot of guys who do podcasts and fantasy analysis and write articles and all that. So they're more wired in and tuned in than the other 98% of the fantasy leagues that people play in.
Right. But I feel like if Drake were an option, he would be on here. Like, I feel like Drake's already gone and this guy's trying to figure out which one's the next best. So if that's the case, let me twist this question around a little bit. Let me add to it. Now, do we go Justice Hill or Gus Edwards or Donta Foreman? Or who's that other fella? Chuba Hubbard. So we got Chuba Hubbard, we got Donta Foreman, we got Justice Hill, we got Gus Edwards. Because if you're thinking Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, and we both kind of already know, and I have a feeling Randy probably already knows that Drake is the answer, and that's why he didn't throw Drake in here, then he's trying to find another guy. He's trying to find a backup. He's trying to find a bye week replacement, an injury replacement, somebody that's going to do something. If we throw in those other two guys now, like maybe these are more options for Randy is what I'm trying to say. Because I tend to lean more towards Justice Hill. You're leaning more towards not answering the question. So I'm going to give you some more options.
If you put a gun to my head and make me choose just between Gus and Justice, I'm going Justice because Gus is not even on the active roster. That obviously could change between now and then, but as it stands today, it has not changed. So
can we both agree that Donta Foreman would be the better option if he's out there?
I would take Donta Foreman over all of them.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to throw that out there in case that's another option he's not considering with the Christian McCaffrey trade. I'm sure everybody knows about it by now, unless you're sleeping under a rock. And if that's the case, that was a really nice sleep for such an uncomfortable spot. Let's see.
I've slept on some rocks, man. They're not that bad.
Okay. You say so. And you're a Marine too, so I totally believe you. Like I was more Army. We went back to the cots and had some nice cushy pillows to sleep on. So all right, George, I think that's the show. I get one last time if you want to try to get it in there. Oh yeah, wait. He said my league's competitive. Foreman Chuba was picked up last week. Yeah, it's a competitive league.
Yep.
Stevie A, best option. Kirk, you know what? They see you on the screen and they automatically think this is the blitz. Guys, we're going to answer this for sure. We're going to answer anything that pops up, but don't forget to check out the blitz on Sunday morning. You got your boy here, George, along with several other awesome top-notch guys that answer questions. Dirty Jobs Mike, you got Joe, Arachi's on there. I'm not going to name everybody off because I'm going to forget people, but
it's me, Mike, Joe, and Homeless Jason.
Well, then you also have, was it Jeff that comes on there a lot? And
Oh yeah, Jeff occasionally, yeah.
yeah, random odds and ends guys. I was on there last week. Like it's just a hodgepodge after the main guys. But Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Jacoby Myers, or Dubs. That's tough. That's tough because you want to say Deontay Johnson, but Kirk has had a great streak going for the most part this season. He's played pretty well, and Dubs is the diva with the shiny new toy right now. With Cobb going down, they're going to need somebody to step up, and Rodgers has had faith in Dubs. But honestly, Stevie, I think I'm going to go Dubs here, even with the Rodgers injury, and that might just be because I have a lot of shares of him and I'm being kind of bullish. So if you take away my bias, I might lean heavily towards Kirk.
So initially, and I'm going to stick with it. Initially, I went with Jacoby Myers, the true wide receiver one in New England, especially in a PPR league. He's uber targeted, heavy targets. He's even scoring touchdowns this year, which is different from the rest of his career. But,
Yeah.
and it's a Monday night game against the Bears. And I don't know if you've watched the Bears play. I think maybe you watched them a couple Monday nights ago, but they're really, really bad in their secondary. Like it is terrible. So I would go Jacoby Myers here personally.
Yeah, and see, there's another reason why you should listen to the Blitz because guys like that actually pay attention to who they're playing and situations. And uh, Myers is probably your better bet. I'm going to trust George on this.
It's funny because Jason and I were talking about it on pre-blitz last Sunday. Like, I know what teams are playing who every single week, and then we get questions like this, and it's like, oh, wait a sec, who's playing who?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I had to schedule up to look because I forgot. But
or
yeah,
you memorize all 16 games before the week goes, and then the wife says, "Did you pick up the eggs on your way home?"
what else? What?
Yeah. Hey, look at that! Right on. Just subscribe. Appreciate you very much, Stevie. We're trying to reach 1,000, so spread the word. We're getting really close. We're trying to hit 800 first, which is really close. I think you make like number 792 right now, or something like that. Appreciate the support. And then, like I said, check us out Sunday morning. Usually, we try to have an odd number on there too to break the tie, so you'll get more advice Sunday morning on that question. I am an extreme backup for that show, just so you know. Like I'm not that good, but George knows his stuff. But thanks for subscribing. Thank you for watching the show, guys. We appreciate everything that the Patreon supporters have done for us in recent months, especially. George, you have anything on the way out?
Now I'm going.
Okay, I did that on purpose.
I know you.
All right, man. That was fun. Great show. Appreciate you, bud.